Street of black light. Street of black light. Street of black light. Down, Papa, don't you know?
Right, well, part 2 of the wings. So, I said I'd do the ailerons. The reason I need to do the ailerons is because you really need to get that done to get the wingtip on, which goes there. And this is the wing root. I hope you can see all right. Just see. Just tilt you down a little bit like that. That's it. Okay. So what's going to happen here is that you have this piece. Let's see if I can grab it with one hand. This piece here, which is like a small aileron. You have to cut this down to make this, and you'll find the crank in one of the bags, and it looks like this when you find it. Okay, so you need to cut this tube down. Now what you have to do is you offer this up to the plan. Let me see if I can take this cutting board away. Put it down just a little bit more. Can you see that all right? Will the camera stand up? I don't know. I don't know. Will the camera stand up? Just about. Okay, you can't really see it because of the camera angle. Let's move that along there like that. But basically, what you have to do, you have to cut this aileron part to this length here. Okay. Then you, looking at the drawing, you then bend the crank so 90 degrees to this vertical part here, so you end up getting that. Now it's highly advisable that you get yourself some Vaseline or a product like it, and rub the Vaseline along the length of this rod, so that when we come to use the glue or the resin, this doesn't get stuck, because this needs to move. Okay, do you see how that works? All right, that's for the aileron. So this fits into this part here. Now you have to cut a little slot here, so this has full autonomy to move, and also in here, so that this can move forward. Okay, so you got full movement there. That will need to be glued in place. The next part, if you can see this okay, is this little part here, and that goes on to the very end of the wingtip there, and then inlaid is then the aileron. Okay, which will go up and down like this. Now what I have done is I have used a little tool that I use and scored the center line of the aileron, and this is the little tool that I used. I cannot recall where I got this from at all. I'm not entirely sure if they're still available, but there are other tools you can use look a little bit different to this. It will give you the same effect. So if you got one of these, you've got a little pin there, if you see that, that goes onto the wood, you sort of twist it and then you run along the wood, and that gives you that score line in the center. And what we're doing there is, that's for the mylar hinges. Just trying to put this back on my little nail. The mylar hinges then go into the aileron, and that works as a hinge. And I've taken the time and trouble to pre-mark where those mylar hinges go, and I've actually run the knife into it so I can get the mylar hinges in as I need or want. Okay, so what's next? So I'm just going to, I know you can't see everything right now, I'm just going to offer the wing up to the drawing, and I'm just going to, you know, measure twice, cut once, I just check the position of this, and that would seem to be correct. It doesn't matter if the end of this overhangs slightly, because you can just sand it off to shape. So that's over by about 2-3 millimeters. That's fine. And then I grab this piece here. I'm going to offer that up to there. That looks fine as well. It's got overhang of probably 1 millimeter there. So then the aileron, which I haven't cut yet, will go in place there. And then the wingtip can be glued on and shaped to suit. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do next is mix up some resin. Hi, so just to begin with, you need to know that this rod here, which is the aileron crank, that is a 2.5 millimeter rod. Now in American that's 332, or as near as damn it to 332. I just thought I'd do that for our American cousins there. Don't need to worry about the Australians and New Zealands and Canadas, because they're all metrics as far as I am aware. So there you are. So you can't say I haven't been helpful. So I've put this part on here and this part on here, and I'm just offering this part up, which is part 28, the wingtip. I'm just offering that up for now, but everything else is glued in. Now let me just move this mug for a second. So let me show you how it's going to be. So what you do, you take the aileron out, which I've cut to size, if it'll come out readily. I'll tell you why it wouldn't in a moment, because at the moment it's an exact fit. You don't want it to be an exact fit. But when you come to put the aileron on, you need to make the rod fit and pop a hole in there. So you put your 2.5 millimeter hole in, and then you get the drill bit, and well, you cut it first with a knife, and then you just run the drill bit through it, not with electric drill, with a little hand drill. Please don't use an electric one, you'll hurt yourself. So you make this, so that will fit, oh, sorry about the wobble, that will fit that. Okay, so this part was originally, where we got it, this part here, which is not marked. You cut that to length, make sure you do an angle here, because you want to follow that. You put your crank in, and don't forget to bend it 90 degrees, so you've got this, and put your Vaseline in, so you can do this, because if you don't, you will actually glue it in place and you will have a bit of a time trying to make it work. And then you put the other half of this here. Okay, make sure you cut that at the correct angle, so you offer it up and mark it. Okay, and then you get your aileron, you cut that to length, the correct length. You put that groove in there with the hole, which then fits in like that, and do it in such a manner that that then is flush. Okay, just checking it myself. Check that it's flush. Okay, now you need to shape the aileron where it meets the trailing edge, but we'll come to that a little bit later. Just for now, it's just a case of making it fit. Okay, do you understand that? Can you see that? Yeah. So this is not hinged at all, but if I move this here, you can see how the aileron will move. Okay, because the hinges are still got to go in yet, but I'm not going to do that just at this moment, because now we're going to concentrate this end here. Okay, so let me just take this out, put it to one side. So we've now got to put on the wingtip, and obviously you'll see that, you know, even though you offer it up like that, it's still, that edge is like pointing up, so you've got to allow for that. So you just allow about a millimetre over the edge there, and you'll see the trailing edge hangs over, and that's got to be trimmed off as well. So you give yourself, well, let's have a look there, 2 to 3 millimetres max, maybe 2.5 millimetres max overhang on every edge, and then you glue this on, which I'm about to now, and once it's glued on, then you can start shaping it. And the shape of this side here has to be similar shape to that. Okay, so it comes round like that. So I'm going to mix up some 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to stick that on, okay, and then I'll show you how I do that. Well, I've glued on the wingtip, and this is one good reason why you don't want to throw these bits of polystyrene away, because you can sit them down, they're actually shaped to hold them, and this allows you to use your glass paper. And I haven't changed the glass paper from all the other jobs. It's still the same sheet, it's still 120 grit per square inch, and as you can see, that's now glued on. There's your profile. Okay, so all I've done is I've done top, I've done the bottom to get that shape. Now I have to get rid of this bit, which is not a big deal, and I have done the leading edge there. So the next part is to cut that along there like this, like that, so that follows that trailing edge. And now I'm going to bevel this here. Now if I just clumsily move the camera and show you, let's see if you can see it. So there's the shape you want to be getting there. Okay, you'll notice also I've marked the centre of gravity, and that you need 90 millimeters dihedral on one end of the wing only, and that is the shape you're trying to get, and this is what you're going to end up with here. Okay, so point you back. Hi, how you doing? Did you have a good week? So that's what you're trying to achieve with this now, and then once that's done, you can finish off the aileron if you wish, just so it's ready for when you are got the other wing, wherever it may be. Yeah, it's over there. I'm not going to reach over for it right now, because that other wing is just glued together and it all needs shaping. So once this one's done, okay, you now know how to do the other one. All you do is just copy it. But you see, it's like with everything. Don't do what Cliff Harvey did. Make 2 right-hand fuselages, or was it 2 left-hand? I don't know. I think it's 2 right-hand fuselages. Just use your head. Remember, you're doing an opposite side. So, you know, as long as you can remember that, because especially when you come to do your crank, it's got to go the other way. Yeah, just bear that in mind before you do it. Measure twice, cut once. We've all done it. I've done it. I've done it. Not for 35 years, but I've done it. So, like, you know, what was that quality control thing I saw years and years ago? There was a guy, and he was making a Canadian Indian canoe, and he got the one end bent up like this and the other one was bent down like that. That's what you want to avoid. Okay, so I'm now going to shape that. Okay, and you can see that, you know, I'm an old git. If I can do it, you definitely can do it. So don't be afraid to try. And that is the way with all things in life. Don't be afraid to try. So I'm now going to shape that, and then I'll show you how to do the aileron, and then we'll move on to the next wing. Okay, so here we are. This has now been beveled. This is what it looks like, and that's how it should be. Now moving on to the aileron, what you need to do, you'll end up with this movement here, like this. You need a maximum, according to the instructions, of 4mm, but this is how it should be. Now, whatever you do, do not glue this in place at all at this stage, okay? So I'll just show you what I've done and how I have arrived to it. So the hinge points are actually marked on the drawing, and the size of the mylar strips they give you, that's a good inch or 25mm. I don't know where the middle one's gone. I think, oh, there it is, there's the middle one. So that will go in there somewhere, I hope. Yeah, there you go. So it look like that. So you've cut this to length, you shave a little bit off there, a few thou off it, just so you know it doesn't catch on the corners there, and of course you've got that part there as well. But what you need to do is bevel the side all the way down each side, because if you put that in flat it isn't going to move. Can you see how I've beveled that? Yeah, and that's what you do. So I've done this really just to demonstrate this, but also the aileron is ready. So all I've got to do now is put the aileron to one side, so we can get this back in. Nothing goes right when the camera's on, you know. Sod's law, that is. So I know now that that aileron's ready to go when I want it. There it is. Yeah. But do not glue these hinges in at all, not even to the aileron at this stage, because you need this wing to be as it is now, because I'm hoping to cover this this wing, so it needs to be like this as it is. So all you have to do now is just copy this on the port side, or if you like the left hand side. You know, there's the underneath, you can have a close look at that. Okay, because this is going to get sanded once more anyway, and we'll probably put a little bit of filler in a couple of places. It's absolutely fine, put filler in, there's no problem with that at all, you know, because if you're going to cover this with a film at all, you don't want edges and things coming up. You want it to be lovely and smooth, and that's how your wing should look. Well, that ends part 3. It finished rather abruptly due to my poor editing, so I'm hoping you're going to forgive me for that one. The next part to come up will be starting the fuselage, so please join me next time, and have a good week. Thank you very much. Cheerio. Bye.